Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for April 10th, 2025 from the Derby Hill Hawkwatch. I had some male purple finches at the feeders in the morning, and compared to the more common house finches, purple finches usually look a bit more puffed up, and they're more of a raspberry color overall. And if you look at the underside, they have less streaking. And also, if you follow the top line of the bill, it's more of a straight line compared to the curve that you see on house finches. And it's always a big hit to have some purple finches near your feeders, especially when they're the beautiful males. It was a good day for loons today, with a total of 47 common loons counted migrating, and also the season's first red-throated loon that was down on the lake. While standing on the bluff, we got to look down on this blue and white water bird. This is a belted kingfisher. And here's the species I've been waiting for, ready for them to arrive. Here we have a duck that's brown overall. We see a white crescent on the face and a very distinctive wing pattern where we have this bluish gray color to the leading edge of the wings, then some white, and then a green speculum. This is a male blue-winged teal. Going into today, I was a little unsure how the weather would play out. We had light to moderate east-southeast winds, which is a good wind direction for us, but I knew it was going to be a gloomy day overall and that rain would be moving in later. So it was a little slow to get started in the morning, but as we reached the midday period, it did brighten up and that launched a pretty good hawk flight. And then as we got into the afternoon, it became a thicker cloud cover and eventually some steady drizzle moved in and ended the count early. Today was a good day for ospreys, with a total of 13 counted as migrants. Here we have a hawk, and it doesn't have a long tail like the accipiters would have, but looking at the overall shape, we can place this as a buteo. And we see that the wings, even in a soar, are quite pointed. It's not a big squared off wingtip or more rounded, it's fairly pointed. And if we look at the tail, we see a dark tail with a single wide white band. And perhaps we can make out a little bit of brown barring to the underside. And we also see a dark trailing edge to the wings, which is another indication of an adult bird. And this was the first broad-winged hawk of the season. So first broadwing, April 10th, maybe a few days earlier than we thought we would get one. And given the conditions this morning, it was kind of surprising to see it, but there will be plenty more to come over the next few weeks. And here's the top side of that same adult broad-winged hawk. Again, notice how pointed the wings look. Overall, the wings and back of the bird are just brown overall. And again, you have that dark tail with a wide white band. Actually, there's a few white bands, but from a distance, you're really only going to see a single wide white band. And broadwings are actually quite small, especially compared to red tails and even compared to red shoulders. So when they're circling, they do tighter circles and they just feel like a smaller bird overall. I thought if we got any flight today, it would mainly just be things like sharp-shinned hawks and falcons, species that don't mind flapping a bit, but actually conditions were good enough that we had a good flight of turkey vultures. Here we have a little kettle of vultures, and throughout the day we had about 300. Actually, we had exactly 300 turkey vultures total migrate by. Here we have a shorebird with a white underside, a brown head, and a long straight bill. This is a Wilson's snipe. Here we have a small raptor with pointed wings that's light underneath, so a small light falcon is an American kestrel, and from the streaking on the breast we know this is a female. Here we have a hawk with a short to medium length tail, so it's a buteo. We see a dark belly band and we see dark patagial bars. This is a red-tailed hawk. Here we have a bird with a small featherless red head, a somewhat long tail, and a two-toned underside with silvery flight feathers to the wings and dark underside to the body and the wing coverts. This is a turkey vulture. Here we have another raptor that you could write off as just another turkey vulture if you didn't take a close enough look. But on this bird, we see a feathered head, and we can even see some brown or gold to the back of the neck. And we see that it's holding its wings up into a shallow V, and we can also see some faint white patches in the center of each wing because this is an immature golden eagle that tried to sneak by us out over the lake. Here we have a small hawk with a long tail, so we should be thinking accipiter. We see a small head on this bird, and we can see that the dark cap extends all the way across the back of the neck and onto the back of the bird, unbroken, giving it a hooded appearance. This is an adult sharp-shinned hawk. On the left, we have a raptor that's kind of a silvery color overall with a long tail and a white rump and dark wingtips. This is an adult male northern harrier. And the bird on the right that is chasing it is a gull that's got a lot of brown tones to it and pale inner primaries. This is a first cycle herring gull. And it was really striking in the field to see the size difference between the male harrier versus the herring gull. The herring gull was actually much larger, and that surprised me. And speaking of northern harriers, here we have another one, but on this one we see that it has a lot of brown streaking to the upper breast, making it an adult female northern harrier. Taking a look at the eBird list, today we had 64 species, so pretty good day. There were 4 new species for the season today, and those were blue-winged teal, red-throated loon, broad-winged hawk, and yellow-rumped warbler, for a total of 115 species seen this season. Taking a look at the hawk count report for our migrating raptor totals, today we had 300 turkey vultures, 13 ospreys, 3 bald eagles, 15 northern harriers, 34 sharp-shinned hawks, 1 Cooper's hawk. For buteos, we had 1 red-shouldered hawk, 1 broad-winged hawk, and 18 red-tailed hawks. We had 1 golden eagle, and for falcons, we had 6 American kestrels and 2 merlins, for a total of 395 migrating raptors. That brings the April total to 7,605 and the season total to 25,908. Taking a look at the forecast for tomorrow, there's showers in the morning and then cloudy the rest of the day with a high in the mid-40s and winds very similar today, east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So with those winds again, once it clears up from the morning rain, I think we'll end up getting a decent flight again just like we had today. So I would think tomorrow should be a decent day. For Saturday, we're looking at considerable cloudiness with the high in the mid to upper 40s, winds northeast shifting northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So it's a little better than they had been saying. It looks like they took the rain out for Saturday, which is good because I know there's some field trips planned. Today we'll be down at the South Lookout and maybe we'll get some migration. Not looking like a fantastic day with those winds coming off the lake, but should be some birds to see. And for Sunday, it's looking mostly cloudy and then partly cloudy with a high around 50 and light northwesterly winds. So another day at the South Lookout, and I would expect light to moderate migration. All right, well, it really turned into a decent day of hawk watching and a nice day of birding overall with a couple new species for the season. And I had some of my Braddock Bay friends stop by to visit, and they got to see a good flight. So really fun day overall, plus the day ended early with that rain moving in, so I had a little bit of extra time in the evening to get things done and get caught up on everything so I can be ready for the next big day out at the Derby Hill Hawkwatch. Hope you can join us soon. From Lyco Birds, this is David Brown. Thanks for watching.